crowd tonight at Tropicana Field for the second game of this three-game series. The homestand continues as the Rays play host to the New York Yankees. The Rays in the middle of a tight race in the American League East starting the day. Percentage points in first place. Boston is on the West Coast. Red Sox are playing the Dodgers. That game is in the bottom of the 8th inning now, with Boston leading 4-2. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. Todd Callis along in just a moment. Not only do we have pennant baseball in store tonight, but a great pitching matchup. For the 9th time, David Price opposes CC Sabathia, and Price, who's been superb since coming off the disabled list, interestingly enough, in maybe a perverse sort of way, pitched one of his more impressive games the last time out when he battled through 5 innings and got the win in Baltimore.
I don't think there's any question about that. You know, you look at what David Price has done in his 10 starts since coming off the disabled list, and the numbers speak for themselves. You see right there, 6-1, the ERA 1.89, opponent's average. Everything that you're going to look at during that time frame, David Price has been outstanding. But Dwayne, you mentioned that last ball game against the Baltimore Orioles. He was in trouble in just about every single one of his 5 innings, but he found a way to turn in a gutty effort, pick up a win for the Rays. It was an outstanding job of pitching out of trouble and pitching out of some tough spots. And tonight he'll go up against CC Sabathia. And quite frankly, the Rays have absolutely worn him out this year. In 4 starts, a 1-3 record, that ERA of 8.31. He's had 2 starts. He's given up 5 earned runs against the Rays. He's had 2 starts. He's given up 7 earned runs against the Rays. Not as dominating as he once was. The Rays have forced him to have to be precise. And when he has missed his spots, they have hurt him big time.
His loss to the Rays on July the 26th, he gave up 7 runs, 9 hits, and 5 innings of work, a little over 100 pitches, and one of his grand nemesis has been the Rays' third baseman, Evan Longoria. In fact, Evan swinging the bat very well overall right now. He'll go head-to-head against the left-hander CC Sabathia. Todd Callis will have more on that matchup when we return.
game between the Yankees and the Rays in front of a big crowd here at Tropicana Field. You've known throughout his career how Evan Longoria enjoys the big moments, and certainly whenever you play against the New York Yankees, the games are usually of elevated significance. And you can see in the last 24 games, Evan hitting .300 against the Yankees in our Toyota Trend with 10 home runs in his last 24 games, 20 RBIs, and he's slugging .677 during that stretch. When we caught up with hitting coach Derek Shelton, we asked him, what's the big difference now for Evan Longoria compared to that tough stretch he went through in July?
I think he's in the zone. I think, and I know Joe said it, but I think we saw him go out of the zone for probably the first time, in a long time, and that became the swing and miss. So it was just a general conversation of, hey, we got to get back to swinging at your pitches, and, nothing mechanical, nothing that way. It was just swing at the right pitches. Every hitter, I think with the exception of Cabrera, goes through an ebb and flow in the season, and, he went through one of those things where he just got outside the zone. He kind of solidified his zone back, and now we're seeing, a guy that's one of the elite players in the game.
Number 3 in the 3 spot in the lineup, playing third base tonight. We have our first pitch in under 3 minutes. CC Sabathia on the mound for the Yankees. David Price on the mound for the Rays. Certain nights at Tropicana Field are electric, and tonight is one of those. Enjoy all the action next on Sunsport.
Five games, blasting 10 home runs while winning 4 of 5. Tonight, it's a marquee pitching matchup as the Yankees send CC Sabathia to the hill to face Tampa Bay's ace, David Price. Welcome back to Tropicana Field. The Rays have also been loving their winning ways as of late, led by David Price tonight. Price coming off a victory, a hard-earned victory on that last road swing, just the 3-game set in Baltimore. And tonight he'll go to the hill for the 20th time, sporting a record of 7-5. And since the 2nd of July, he has been superb. Tonight's lineup for New York brought to you by Sweet Bay Supermarkets. Ichiro Suzuki leads off in right, followed by Eduardo Nunez, the shortstop. Hitting third is the second baseman Robinson Cano. Alfonso Soriano becoming the cleanup man in New York for the Yankees. Alex Rodriguez hits fifth. The DH tonight is Vernon Wells. In center field, Curtis Granderson Mark Reynolds at first base will hit 8th, and Austin Romine will do the catching and bat ninth.
Well, David Price hit his season numbers, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, on for the 20th time this season. It'll be the 11th start since returning from that injury, and as you can well imagine, the numbers drastically improved in that time frame, averaging almost 7 2/3 innings a start, just 5 walks to go along with 57 strikeouts in his last 10. Let's take a look at the defense as it's going to line up behind David tonight. In the outfield, left to right, Rodriguez, Jennings, and Fold. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Escobar, Zobrist, and Loney. Jose Molina will be behind the plate.
Sure is great to have you looking in tonight as the Rays have gone 8-6 against New York. 4-3 here at the Trop following a 7-2 win last night. And we'll be joined tonight by Orestes Destrada from the camera well adjacent to the Rays dugout. Orestes, good to have you with us this evening.
Hey, this one's good to be here. I mean, this is a treat. Obviously, these two heavyweights have gone head-to-head many times, and David Price and C. Sabathia. For me, I got the best seat in the house. Maybe the only other better seat would be the catchers and Jerry Meals behind the plate. So I'm excited, guys. Looking forward to this game.
Yeah, you're as close to the action as anybody except for maybe the hitter. And the first hitter tonight against David Price will be Ichiro Suzuki. David Price, last year's Cy Young Award winner, as you know, in the American League. And since coming off the disabled list, has pitched better than he did during his Cy Young Award season.
There's no question about it. And even that last start where it was a struggle for him, impressive in its own way, the way that he was constantly able to make big pitches in big spots.
First pitch of this game, and that's in there for a strike. First pitch presented by Pincher Penny. Fastball from Price around 92 to start this game. Ichiro strokes it into shallow left, and Rodriguez playing shallow right there, aggressively making the catch.
Well, Ichiro Suzuki uses the whole field, obviously against a left-hander David Price. You're aware of that to left field, and you're not worried about getting beat over your head that way. So Sean Rodriguez playing extremely shallow takes away a base hit from Suzuki. That's another example of the Rays super aggressive on defense. Look at him, just waiting on that.
You know, we saw Matt Joyce make a couple outstanding catches in right field last night, aggressively charging sinking line drives. That time Rodriguez, same thing, set up a little shorter in left, a bit more shallow in left with Suzuki up there. Nunez, and the first pitch, 94 on a fastball for a strike. Eduardo Nunez had 2 hits last night. Could have had 3. He was retired his first time up on a good play by Escobar at shortstop. Shorten's on the bat. That pitch is down. 1-1.
You know, and that's always a big pitch for David Price, the glove side fastball. And you will see that a lot tonight, working both sides of the plate against this Yankee offense.
Popped up, going to be foul, and will carry out a play.
We've seen him, David, against the right-handed hitters, really use that fastball in and in off the plate to then set up that backdoor cutter. He gets them thinking so much about the ball middle in, and then all of a sudden drops that cutter backdoor, most of the time with great success.
Down 2-2. Nunez playing shortstop in the absence of Derek Jeter, who has played a couple of games at Scranton, their AAA club. Girardi has had to contend with injuries all over the field this year for New York. Fly ball lifted toward left center field. Long run for Jennings, but Desmond is there and makes the catch. Jennings, if that ball has any hang time at all, Desmond Jennings is there.
Well, this outfield can play big, and so you need some speed out there. Desmond Jennings has plenty of that. Gets good jumps, takes good angles, and yeah, you better hit it on a rope if you're going to clear Desmond.
It's going to bring up Robinson Cano. The base is empty and 2 gone. Cano, the 8th leading hitter in the American League, starting the night hitting .305. .255 lifetime against Price. That's a ball. Pretty close.
That was a great pitch by David Price. That didn't even really give that much thought. Thought for sure that was a strike.
Inside, 2-0. The Yankees come into this game 11th overall in the league in hitting at .246 and 14th in home runs. Injuries a lot to do with that, but recently, over the last week and a half, they have a team average of .314. Price behind Cano, 3-0.
Well, you see some of the faces that they have added. You know, Soriano comes over in a trade. Alex Rodriguez comes back. Curtis Granderson. Of course, Cano. The lineup starting to resemble a more dangerous Yankee-like lineup, and their recent success indicates that.
There's a strike. 3-1.
The thing about it is, though, you can have a hot offense and come in scorching, but if the Rays pitchers are doing their thing, they're going to make life extremely difficult on you.
Liner into left center field over the head of Escobar. Sean Rodriguez with the pickup. Cano is aboard with a base hit.
A nice job by Cano to go down and out and get that pitch and hit it hard. But boy, the scurrying of the outfielders. This ball was hit hard out into left center field, but you could see Rodriguez and Jennings hustling quickly, make sure that ball was going to get cut off and keep Cano to a single.
That's a great point. This outfield, as it's configured right now, Rodriguez and Jennings and Cole, not in 2 cases, guys who don't play every day. But boy, can they cover ground, and you know you're going to get great effort. And both corner guys can throw. So Joe Madden has some speed out there to cover some ground, and some guys who can go get it. Alfonso Soriano looks at a fastball. That's a strike.
You remember earlier in the season where Sean Rodriguez playing left field had to back up in center and had to run all that way. The hustle that he showed, that's, you know, you're going to get that kind of effort from him. Of course, Sam Fuld the same way, and Desmond Jennings. So you're going to have a very active outfield for sure tonight.
Fastball in on Soriano at 95. He fouls it back.
Yeah, and the one encouraging thing for David Price in this big outing, fastballs to both sides of the plate. He has been very precise, glove side and arm side. That is a great sign, because when he has that working, he's usually tough to beat.
Alex Rodriguez on deck. 0-2 the count to Soriano.
And BA, to add to that, from this great vantage point, they're popping. You know, they've got a little snap to him already. It's a very, very positive sign to not only see that he's hitting the corners low and away and low and in, but they've got a little bit of snap. More that it seemed like, well, it was only on TV that I saw him in that last outing.
You know, that last pitch to Soriano at 95 in on his fist. Good example of that. This one fouled off Molina. Already Molina taking a hit on the foul ball. Let's listen to this.
It's amazing how many of those fouled straight off catch him crisp right in the face mask.
That's no fun at all.
I question if he's Puerto Rican or Mexican, because he's like a Mexican fighter that could just take a lot of punches for like 12 rounds and still stay standing, like Johnny Little Red Lopez or somebody.
You can wobble him, but he does not go down.
Not only is Orestes in the camera well, but ringside as well.
The fight doctor. Right here, I'm ready. I got the smelling sauce and stuff. Just in case Jerry Meals might need it.
Keep it handy. A ball, 2 strikes here to Soriano. No off first. Pop foul. Will carry into the stands.
You always wonder how sharp a guy's going to be early in a game like this. You know it's a big game. You know it's going to have you're going to have a raucous crowd. It's the building's full, which is outstanding. When you get this kind of atmosphere in the dome, it's so loud in here. David Price said he's shown that he is more than up to the task.
1-2 shot to center field. Jennings makes the grab, and that ball knuckled on him out there. Nice job of reading that in center by Jennings. No score. Rays coming in to hit. The direction, Joe Girardi. Lined up, brought to you by Sweet Bay Supermarkets. Rays will have Desmond Jennings leading off, then Ben Zobrist and Evan Longoria. The DH is Will Myers, Sean Rodriguez next, and then Yunel Escobar. James Loney, Jose Molina, and Sam Fold in right field. Will back night.
Well, taking the mound tonight for the New York Yankees, left-hander CC Sabathia making his 27th start of the season and looking to turn his fortunes around against the Rays. This will be his 5th start against them and comes into this ball game with an 8.31 earned run average against them this year.
Jennings after the first pitch up the right field line, but it's going to be foul. One hop and into the stands. So the Rays and Jennings coming out swinging as Desmond so often does.
Now he picks his spots with certain guys. He knows Sabathia, not as dominating and as powerful with the fastball as he once was. Also still a guy with, throws a lot of strikes. So you're up there ready to hit. And that's what has paid off for the Rays against Sabathia.
Pitch in, it's 1-1. Well, the Rays started the day in percentage points, first place, a couple of points ahead of Boston, but the Red Sox have just beaten the Dodgers in Los Angeles 4-2. Ground ball to short, right to Nunez. So at the moment, the Rays are a half game back of Boston in the American League East. Battling each other a continent apart while the Red Sox play in Los Angeles and the Rays play the Yankees here in Tampa Bay.
And that's the most encouraging thing, is being 2 games up in that loss column. So even if Tampa Bay goes out and wins this game tonight, they're theoretically tied with Boston. But boy, to have 2 games in the pocket in the loss column is a huge advantage for the Rays.
Here's Ben Zobrist. Takes one foul the other way, out of play for a strike.
Ben going after the first pitch also. CC Sabathia is never going to be intimidated by anybody, but you know that he's got to be thinking in the back of his mind the damage that this team has done against him this year.
0-2. Well, he's won just 4 of 22 starts against the Rays since becoming a Yankee.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. 4-11. For the longest time too, Dwayne, I think it was a matter of him just getting out-pitched. When he was pitching against the Devil Rays, having a lot of success. Now all of a sudden the Rays have improved themselves to the point that he's hooking up with a good pitcher each and every time out. I think that was it early on. Lately, it's been the Rays have just been flat out pounded.
Yeah, in those early years, he was 7-1 at one time in his career facing Tampa Bay. A little different story lately, and I think a little different story this year as well. I think you're absolutely right. He has been a quality superstar starting pitcher in the big leagues. Chopped toward the middle, gloved by Nunez. High throw, and Reynolds keeps his foot on the bag. And I think you're right. He was out-pitched. He dropped a little velocity this year, and he tried to make that adjustment. Well, here is Evan Longoria. Speaking of success against Sabathia, Evan has enjoyed that.
Well, right there, almost a third of his hits have left the building. And Evan, he's hit a little bit of everything. The fastball, the hanging breaking ball. Sometimes you just have a guy's number, and you'll see Sabathia should be pitching Evan very carefully.
First pitch away. Evan hit his 26th home run of the year last night in the third. The last week and a half has started to pick up a number of extra base hits. In the top 10 in slugging percentage, 8th coming into the day in the American League in the slugging percentage category. Fastball at 94, well placed in. Most home runs hit by Longoria off any pitcher. Sabathia with 6.
3 quality lefties on that list. Lester, Holland.
Sabathia hoping to get the call on the slider. 2-2.
And what we've seen from Sabathia against Evan Longoria is everything. Fastball to both sides of the plate, a changeup, a backdoor curveball. Throwing the kitchen sink out at him here in this first at bat.
2-2. Hit on the ground and skips beneath the glove of Alex Rodriguez. Will go to the corner. Longoria is on his way to second. Sharply hit by Longoria, and by the time Rodriguez made a move on it, the ball was by him.
Yeah, he tried to almost lean back to get a better hop. Tried to get his glove on this. You see this ball rip right down the line. A great shot of it, and he just whiffs it. He's made this play thousands of times. Not this time.
Yeah, you can see it from down here. It just really ate him up. I don't think Alex thought it was hit as hard as it was, but when he took that one extra spin or bounce, it spun on him and just completely ate him up and went right by his glove.
Yeah, and we mentioned last night He obviously not moving nearly the way he did before. Reaction time not what it was. Well, here's Will Myers taking a big cut, fouling it, strike one.
And here's the deal. If you're going to start to slow down, you don't need as much range as you do at shortstop playing third base. But if the reaction time starts to suffer, you're in big trouble. That's the hot corner. Big right-handed hitters, they turn on those balls middle in and they hit rockets down at you. You got to have that glove ready to go right now.
Will takes the pitch, 1-1.
Yeah, you alluded to that he threw everything at Evan Longoria. Two pitches that you really kind of don't see CC throw much, but he really knows who he's facing, and Evan, who owns him, is a 94, 95 mile an hour fastball inside. You don't see CC throw 95 consistently throughout a game anymore.
Ground ball to short. Hernandez fires to first, and the Rays leave Longoria at second. No runs with a man left. Alex Rodriguez will lead off the second. No score.
Boston Red Sox, LA Dodgers. Those Johnny Gomes getting the Red Sox on the board first with this 3-run home run. And the Red Sox would take a 4-0 lead in the first inning. But then back came the Dodgers late. Adrian Gonzalez, 2 on, 2 outs, doubled the opposite way to left center. That would score 2 runs, making it a 4-2 game. But then the Red Sox would close it out against the Dodgers, and Boston wins 4-2 in LA, guys.
O'Hara closing that one out. His 13th save. Saved the game for John Lester, who is 12-7. Alex Rodriguez in the box. Foul ball off the off-speed pitch.
Yeah, interesting way of starting Alex Rodriguez. You think David Price going to come after him with that fastball and a first pitch changeup in the first at-bat of a game when you haven't faced this guy in a long time.
That's what Alex Rodriguez thought he was going to get, was the fastball. You can see the swing. Cutter in there, 0-2.
He has gotten so good with that pitch. It's not a huge cut, and he is very good at dotting it right on that outside corner or leaving it just a little bit off. Very rarely is it catching a lot of plate.
Pretty good pitch right there. Tried the same thing.
Well, that's Jose Molina, too, in an 0-2 count, setting up wide of the plate. That glove right. Boy, so close.
It's tough to take that pitch.
Yeah, it is.
2 strikes.
Yes, it is.
I want to ask you guys something, because you've actually done a lot of games covering A-Rod here in the last few years. I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 years that he's become way more of a guess hitter than I ever remember him being. I mean, he'll get fooled quite dramatically sometimes, and when he guesses right, obviously he's dangerous.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. Up the right side foul, and you know, of all of us right here, you're the hitter, Orestes, and I would think that hitters, they know when things start to slow just a little bit, and then that's when the guessing starts to increase.
It's been around now. I've noticed it actually more than 3 or 4 years, but it seems like, yeah, it's a cheating mechanism to some degree, and I use that loosely. I'm sorry, but I mean, you try to get there.
Swing and a miss. He's out on strikes. Cutter got him there. First strikeout for Price.
Well, everything from David Price so far in tonight's ball game has been high quality. Here's another one. The backdoor cutter keeping it low, and Rodriguez right over the top of it. A great shot of it here.
That was beautiful. And I just thought, for those that wonder what guessing might be, obviously it's fairly self-explanatory, but he will pick a couple pitches or maybe one pitch and drop the whole at bat.
Wells, high, pop foul, full on the bullpen mound. Oh, that's a difficult play when you get in the vicinity of the mound down there. Nice job by Sam Cole.
If you've never been on a field running at full speed and then have to contend with a mound, and you're absolutely right, he does it flawlessly. How many times have you seen guy start up the back of that mound and just take a header? Completely changing the landscape, and Sam Fuld navigates it wonderfully.
Yeah, it's hard to be going full speed ahead and suddenly you got to run uphill.
How about the center field in Houston?
Yeah,
we've seen
exactly
how many guys
there.
As soon as they turn and run back and they hit that change, face plant.
Strike to Curtis Granderson.
Yeah, where does the cutter come in against a power lefty here, like a Granderson or Davis that he just left in Baltimore?
Well, you know, you can use that pitch, try to get around it a little bit more and use it almost as a slider. You'll see some guys with a good cutter try to get on top of it, get a little bit more cut to it, and use it as a slider. But it's another, you know, you can front door that pitch too, because a lot of lefties, lefty on lefty, you don't see him pitch in a lot. So, you know, you get ahead of him, pitch him in off the plate, and then front door that cutter. You'll freeze him just about every time.
Fastball away, and that's the mid-90 fastball at 95.
Now, these guys are not used to seeing fastballs in on them from lefties with any consistency at all. And then to have one that's actually going to cut back and catch the inside corner, if you execute it, these guys don't have a chance on that one.
Oh, strike three call. Hard stuff there, 95. Granderson looked at it. 1, 2, 3 go the Yankees. 2 strikeouts in the inning. No score, middle of 2. Tonight in this game and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Sean Rodriguez hitting 5th against Sabathia. He takes a good rip at a fastball, fouls it right back into the screen.
Well, these Rays hitters are not going to be shy. He's got good numbers against Sabathia. They've had a lot of success against him recently.
One and one. Escobar and then Loney to follow Sean Rodriguez. One and two. We have Granderson in center, a few steps toward right center. Ichiro toward the line a little bit in right field as well. And a swing and a miss. There's Sabathia up with the fastball with something on it at 95.
Listen, CC Sabathia has been around a long time. He's been extremely successful, and he has a lot of pride. Realizing that this Rays team has given him fits, he has come out to pitch tonight. You see it with the velocity there, and even better than that was the elevation on that particular pitch.
Now, this is a little more velocity than we have seen from Sabathia recently.
How about his last 2 starts? You talk about pitching on the right day. He's won his last 2 starts, and in 11 1/3 innings, he's given up 8 earned runs and actually walked 11 hitters in that span.
Escobar taking a strike. And his 4-seamer and the 2-seamer averaging 92 and 91 respectively. So that's a couple of ticks down. But we've seen some 95s here in the first couple innings tonight.
Yeah, you're not joking, B.A. I mean, I'm seeing it from here. He's humming it. We have not seen this CC Sabathia in a long time. Now the question is, guys, how long can he keep up throwing 94, 95 in this game? I mean, he hasn't been doing that for all season long that I've seen.
That's why you stay tuned.
Hello.
Here's the 0-2 upstairs.
How was he in Cleveland back in the day, though? I mean, what was it, 97 consistently, 98?
Yeah, he had big-time velocity.
Crazy stuff.
Always had a good slider, and it was really the development of the changeup. And when he got that pitch under wraps, that's when he took that next step up into elite level.
Chopped to third, gloved by Alex Rodriguez, gets the throw away. Escobar is out number 2. Strikeout and a ground out, 2 up, 2 down. James Loney on his way to the plate. Sabathia coming off the 5 1/3 outing in Boston on the 18th, his last time out when he gave up 6 runs, 7 hits, and 5 1/3. And the Yankees won that game 9-6. Was leading 7-6 when he left. Too close to Loney, but he went around.
Really?
Did he?
I didn't see it.
He tried to check, and I think it is a ball. Let's see.
No, they called it a strike.
He called it a strike.
Ouch.
Yeah, Jerry Meals indicated that he went around. Let's take a look and see on that first pitch.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty close. He could have called. He could have just left that alone.
Yeah, I think he should have left that one alone.
I'm with you.
Bounded back.
Or gotten help.
Well, he thought he saw something that we did.
Or the other 32,000 people that are here.
Down to third, backhanded by Alex Rodriguez, and he two-hops it in. Reynolds comes up with the throw, and the Rays are out in order in the second inning. Ball game will head into the third. Another look at Alex Rodriguez get this ball across the diamond. We are scoreless. Ball on Sun Sports, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Toyota, let's go places. By Coventry Healthcare. Coverage so you can keep living the life you want. Go live. We've got you covered. And by Checkers, feast on. Inside Tropicana Field tonight, great house. Here for the middle game of this series between the Rays and the Yankees. Mark Reynolds, the New York first baseman, hitting eighth, will lead off against David Price, who is off to a very good start. He is crisp tonight. 6 of the first 7 hitters. He has served first pitch strikes. This one a little wide. 1 ball, no strikes. Stays outside. 2-0. David, since coming back off the DL on the 2nd of July, an earned run average of 189. 6-1. With just remarkable numbers across the board.
You start to look at the breakdown because now you've had a similar amount of starts. 9 before he went on the DL, 10 coming off. You know, the batting average against left-handed hitters almost cut in half from 263 to 138. Lefty, righties, it's down 70 points. Runners in scoring position down dramatically.
There's the strike. Well, he had the 3-0 count to Reynolds, 3-1 now, and he just hasn't walked anyone. He's had a minimum number of 3-ball counts on hitters. 3-1 right here to Reynolds. Good cut. Baseball, and he missed it. 3-2.
3-1 fastball to Mark Reynolds, who you know is sitting on that pitch, and David Price able to power it by him. That has been it. It has been strike throwing, yes. Quality strike throwing. Even more so.
That's the deal. I mean, as a hitter, he's looking fastball. David is predominantly a fastball pitcher. My goodness, man. Reynolds is a fastball hitter. But where you spot that pitch is what makes a difference. And I think of a McGee who does that very well too. And he'll throw you a 3-2 fastball, but it'll be such on the black that you still can't really hit it well.
Yeah, and what that speaks to is, listen, there's a lot of good fastball hitters out there. So what does that mean? I should never throw him a fastball?
Right.
I mean, really, you got to throw the fastball. The key is quality, good spots. Know where he prefers the fastball. Stay out of that area. Todd Stottlemyre used to be a big proponent of that. He'd like to see where hitters took their most aggressive swing, and that's where he knew that was the area that they wanted. Stay out of that area.
Chopper foul on the 3-2. Well, Price has been so much more aggressive in his style since coming off the DL. That was right from the very first start he made in Houston.
And not just with the fastball.
Yeah.
He's been aggressive with the cutter, aggressive with the changeup. I mean, everything's been aggressive, not just with that heater.
Popper into shallow center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Well, Reynolds really fought off a fastball and drops a base hit into shallow center. Runner aboard, nobody out. We'll check in with Todd Callis.
Dwayne, special guest with me right now, Vince Roig, founding chairman of the Helios Education Foundation. Also, we have Paul Luna with us, president and CEO of Helios. Vince, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about the Rays Helios Scholarship Program.
The program is called Doubling Up for Education, and every time the Rays hit a double, $600 is put in by the foundation, the Rays Foundation, and $600 is put in by the Helios Foundation. Hopefully that'll arrive to about $200,000 a year, and it's a 5-year deal for $1 million to benefit Take Stock in Children.
$200,000 a year. We're going to see the check presentation as we talk to Paul. Tell us a little bit about Take Stock in Children and the importance of that program.
Well, Take Stock in Children is a wonderful partner. They're the organization that provides mentorship and support to the students to help ensure that they get, in addition to the scholarship, the support services that they need, because this is all about making sure that the students are successful in graduating, and that's really what they provide. They're a fabulous organization.
And we love the partnership with the Rays Baseball Foundation and Helios. Vince, Paul, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Todd. Runner at first, Romine the hitter. Pitch is low. Romine, the Yankees catcher. He spent a lot of time on the DL this year as well. The Yankees have a lot of those. Ground ball third. Oh, what a pickup by Longoria. Out in second and over to first. 5-4-3 on the double play. A nifty backhand to start that double play by Evan Longoria.
Yeah, think about the alternative. At worst, it's going to be second and third with nobody out. And Romine turns on this ball. And watch this. Boy, you got to be quick, not only to glove it, but then the feed. We've been seeing this all year long from this Rays defense, especially in the infield.
Gold all over that play by Longoria. And as good as he's been offensively recently, he continues to be excellent defensively. Base is empty, and Ichiro missing that pitch by plenty.
Well, that was a sharp, snappy curveball right there by David Price, and you see Ichiro trying to bail and wail. Comes up short.
And guys, that we just had the Alex, and that's unfair on Rodriguez because he's 13 years or more, possibly older than our two-time Gold Glover over there in Evan. But it's the footwork too that Evan is phenomenal with. He makes the play, and then his feet position themselves so well in order to make the perfect feed. He really is incredible.
Strike three call to Ichiro Suzuki. Fastball on the corner gets him looking. Bottom of the third coming, no score. Rays. Tonight's game available in Spanish via SAP. Brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Jose Molina is going to open the bottom of the third against CC Sabathia. Sabathia has come out pitching well tonight. Gave up a double to Longoria with 2 outs in the first. But his velocity has been in the mid-90s when he has wanted to go there. So here's Molina. Jose has never had a hit off CC Sabathia. 0 for 16 against him coming into this one. And the pitch is wide.
Well, then just
he might be due.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Of course.
It's ahead in the count. 2-0, working the count on him.
But due to do what? I'm just trying to. What are you going to do to? Oh, to get a hit. I see.
You got it. We will celebrate that when it happens. We fully expect that to take place.
Ooh,
and a good cut right there. Got ahead 2-0. Let it rip. 2-1.
That wasn't a I'm 0 for 16 against this guy type of rip right there.
That's exactly right. He knows he's due as well. Two balls, 2 strikes. Continues to be aggressive. Sabathia, 33 years old. Now, holds right there, 2-2. And the Red Sox beat the Dodgers 4-2 in LA. Oakland 2-1 over the Orioles in Baltimore. The Rays will be seeing Oakland on the next road trip. Roller out to second base, and Cano makes the play. But technically it'll be the second road trip after the next one. The next road trip's that 1 day in Kansas City, the makeup game. Then the Rays come home to play the Angels and then go on the long road trip to the West Coast.
Yeah, you got that road trip out to Kansas City for that big series where Jeremy Guthrie's going to start all the games in that series. The Kansas City Royals.
1 game is a series, as we have already found out earlier this year when the Rays had to return to Boston. Sam Full. That pitch is a strike. There'll be a lot of conversation about how these races stack up, how the wild card race plays its way through the final month plus of the season. Rays 20 games over 500 right now, winning 7 out of their last 9. Sam takes it the other way. That's twisting into the seats. Slice down there. Pulled in right field tonight. Made a good play on the foul ball off the bat of Vernon Wells in the second inning. He had to traverse the bullpen mound and made the play without much difficulty. Not easy to do. Line drive, and it's caught by Reynolds at first. Hard hit line drive by Sam. 2 up and 2 down.
Now, Sam Fold has been so good against left-handed pitchers this year. This is all you can ask, too. He goes down, gets a breaking ball, hits it hard. Line drive, but Mark Reynolds able to make his way over. 1 step and a reach.
Yeah, you're
Take
right
away a
about
base hit.
what he's done against lefties. He comes into this game hitting .320 off left-handed pitching. One of his home runs off the lefty. Desmond Jennings.
He's become a regular in the lineup against left-handed pitching. I mean, Joe Madden recognizing that, get good defense in the outfield, put him down in the 9 spot. So you have the threat down there of getting on base as you roll the lineup around, speed on the base paths.
Well, with Joe Madden, the way he constructs lineups, this is the Rays have used 111 lineups this year, and he just loves it when he can play a guy like Cole, left-handed hitter, against a lefty and get that kind of production. He's just enough of a contrarian to enjoy
yeah.
it.
Oh, more than enough of a contrarian.
The Rays not quite going to get to the number of lineups they used last year. They used 151 lineups put together. Different lineups last year put together by Joe Madden. 111 so far. That's one more than the Yankees. The Yankees have used 110, both high numbers in the major leagues. But the Yankees have used 50 players this year. They currently have 18 players on the DL.
Well, that's the big reason why. Because forever, the Yankees are rolling out a lineup that looks the same day in and day out.
That's right.
Marquee lineups, but the injuries have taken their toll this year on this team. This ball right here, you're not sure if it's on the check or the pitch. Pretty good on each.
Yeah.
But 18 players on the disabled list, right? That is astonishing.
And now Desmond draws the walk. He's aboard with 2 outs.
Nice cat and mouse game to watch right here. 2 outs. A perfect opportunity to try to steal Desmond Jennings to get him into scoring position. However, Sabathia has been very good at controlling the running game, posing base runners in now, 174 innings or so. Just 3 out of 5.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
There were 10 steals off him a year ago, and a couple caught stealings. Just 3 this year. So let's see how this plays out. Ben Sobers takes ball 1. Desmond, 17 steals, 7 times he's been caught. He's been picked off 4 of those times. He had never been picked off in his career until this year. Found himself trying to be a little more aggressive.
They're trying to get it going. A lot of those caught stealings were early in the year. He wasn't getting on base with any kind of frequency.
High chop. Sabathia turns and fires to first. In time, the call made by Chris Conroy at first. Close. The Rays are out in the 3rd, a walk and a man left. Sabathia making that play himself. On to the 4th inning we go. The Rays and the Yankees are scoreless.
David Price, time now for our AT&T Twitter poll question of the night. We asked you, of the teams that are currently non-playoff teams in the American League, right now the Rays and the A's would be the wild card team. So of these four, which is the most likely to make the postseason? Hashtag TB1, the Baltimore Orioles. Hashtag TB2, Cleveland. Hashtag TB3, the Royals. Hashtag TB4, the Rays' opponent tonight, the New York Yankees. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays. As we look at the wild card picture, the Rays currently on top of the wild card after Boston's win, breaking that first place tie. The A's now a few games back, and Cleveland 3 behind Oakland, Baltimore 3 behind Oakland, and New York 4 back of the A's. Kansas City 7.5 back with that 6-game losing streak. Guys, back to you.
Difficult to handicap that question, although, as you pointed out, I think last night or maybe the day before, the Indians do have, it would seem, when you take a peek at the rest of the schedule, an advantage if a team's going to make a run.
As far as you're right, the quality of opponent, no doubt. We talked about some of the teams they're going to end up with at the end of the year. The White Sox a couple of times, the Twins, the Astros.
Mr. Nunez is down.
The question is, are they good enough to take advantage of that and win at an incredibly high clip? Because that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, they over the next week they have the Braves and the Tigers, and if they can get through that, then the rest of their lineup is advantageous to the Cleveland cause.
And that's a big if, because Atlanta is, even with Hayward being down, one of the best teams in all of baseball, and the Tigers have given the Indians absolute fits. They cannot figure out a way to beat that team. In fact, they had that last 4-game series against them where they lost the first game in the 9th inning in a 4-run rally, and then Detroit just ran right through them the rest of the way. Ended up sweeping that 4-game series.
I'll tell you, but if they can get through the next week or so, next 7-8 days, got the Mets and Kansas City and the White Sox, Kansas City again, Houston, the White Sox and the Twins.
Oh yeah, it sets up well for them, but you've got to be a team that's going to take full advantage of that. And like you said, keep your head above water for the next week.
Cutting the miss. Nunez out on strikes. Strikeout number 4 for David Price.
Tell you what, that backdoor cutter used to be a pitch that David would dabble with, and now it has become his legitimate strikeout pitch against a right-handed hitter.
You're so right. I mean, BA, I'm watching it from here, and they can't get around it. That's the problem. They can't. The only thing they could do with that pitch is, unless they're super guessing at it, is try to punch it to right a little bit. But they definitely cannot. They're reacting too tardy, and they can't get around it, so you're done. If he places it where he's putting it, which is in that right on the black in the outside corner.
The left-handed hitting Robinson Cano. The strike.
I tell you what, that speaks to David Price's stuff tonight.
That's a show of respect there.
Yeah, when you get Robinson Cano looking to bunt his way on because of the way the defense is set up. Evan Longoria playing in between third and short, almost at the outfield cut. You see Evan here, Escobar here.
I may go one further. It goes to the 15-5 record here at the Trop also. So, I mean, it's almost a team thing. The Yankees, you know, have lost their proverbial mojo on the Rays as far as coming here and being able to beat these guys.
Cut, the little tapper fouled off the fastball.
And look where David Price is putting these pitches. I mean, outer third and off the plate. He's coming inner third or off in. Nothing out over the heart. You know, you go back to the backdoor cutter that we were just talking about. The success of that pitch can be tied directly. It's not always that David has that pitch set up perfectly, but his location with it has been. And when he misses to the right spot with it.
2-2. Price 7-4 in his career against New York. It's his 20th appearance against the Yankees in his young career. And a full count. Three pitches for Price. Gave up a hit to Cano with 2 outs in the first, a 1-2-3 second. Leadoff base hit to Mark Reynolds in the third. He was erased on a double play ball. And the 3-2 pitch to Cano. Waiting to be made. Cano stepping back. Price stepping off the rubber. Now the 3-2. Up the middle. Diving stop. Escobar. Up and out at first. Escobar to Loney. Another nice defensive play by the Rays infield. Longoria in the third, and now Escobar in the fourth.
Even though we highlighted the defense earlier, tell me that when that ball was hit, you said, okay, base hit up the middle.
That's exactly right.
But that is exactly what the Rays do defensively. They're aggressive with it. They move guys around. And what in any other era is a base hit clean up the middle, right over the rubber. Escobar makes a diving play on it. Still a little off balance on the long jump shot, though.
Oh, totally. I've talked to him about it.
Why don't you get him to square up a little bit?
I can't get him to square up, dude. He shoots like my brother back in high school.
Sorry,
Albert, but I'm calling you out. It was the lean to the left, throwing to the best.
No, inconsistent results.
No, I mean.
Thank goodness he doesn't field ground balls like that.
True.
0-2 to Soriano.
Need to go more, set up John Paxson type straight up shooter. How about the shift here? I mean, I know you guys have talked about it before, but I still, ever since I've seen this, I've never seen anybody do this shift. This is great.
And the right-handed hitting Soriano pitches down. Loney, the lone defender on the right side of the infield for the Rays, and the Rays have the picket fence effect on the left side with Zobrist, Escobar, and Longoria stationed over there.
They're practically daring Soriano to hit the ball the other way. You're worried about his pull power, and guess what? It comes down to math, too. If it's where he's hitting his ground balls, that's where the Rays are going to put their defenders. There's no question about that. Don't care who you are.
Ground ball and right to Escobar. He throws a strike to first. 1-2-3 go the Yankees. The outstanding play made up the middle by Escobar on the ball hit by Cano. Stamp it with a star. No score, mid-4. Pick up the Tampa Bay Times tomorrow and get your coupon and promo code for your chance to buy 2 outfield tickets and get 2 free on Tuesday, August 27th, when the Rays take on the Angels. Great deal available through the Tampa Bay Times for Tuesday's special offer. Evan Longoria in the batter's box. Takes the first one up.
Yeah, you better pay attention to these broadcasts and what the Rays are doing, getting aggressive with their ticket promotion here at the end of the year. And you hope that the fans take advantage of that, because the building tonight is
fun tonight.
Oh yeah, it's packed to the gills. These are the games you love to be a part of. A constant buzz in the stands.
It's the place to be. Ground ball. Another ground ball. Nunez takes care of that. 3 ground ball outs in the first. A strikeout and a couple of ground ball outs in the second. Line drive by Fold in the third, but then 2 other ground ball outs. And a ground ball here by Longoria in the fourth.
Both of these pitchers are on their game. This is when you see Price Sabathia, this is the kind of game through here into the 4th inning, what you expect. Who will blink first?
Will Myers. This pitch is a strike.
Even their ball and strike differential is similar right now up on the board there. They're locking horns, guys.
Way high. 1-1. A little something extra at 95, and we've seen Sabathia hit that 95 mark 3 or 4 times in the early stages of this game. In the 4th right now. 95 8 times for Sabathia. That's significant for him based on his prior outings this year. He's ahead of Myers 1 and 2.
One thing that another similarity between Price and Sabathia tonight, fastball to both sides, not allowing these hitters to be comfortable in the box and allow them to look on one half of the plate.
A big cut and a miss. Myers strikes out. 2 gone.
And set up brilliantly by the previous fastball. Fastball in, and then all of a sudden you come with the slider down and in. Right here, you don't want to get beat in again if you're Will Myers, and you start to commit to that pitch before realizing it's not a fastball.
Two up, 2 down.
Interesting thing going on with the Will Myers, Evan Longoria. Just a little while ago, Evan obviously with a kind of almost like a flu bug of a funk at the plate, and now it seems to be passed on to Will Myers, and Evan's the one that's hot. When Will was hot recently, I see Will in the last maybe 10 games just indecisive and taking some weird cuts, and hopefully he'll snap out of it soon.
It started with those pitches that have been out over the plate that we've seen him crush, since he's been called up, that he was just missing, just fouling off, not quite able to get to it, starting back in that Seattle series.
You're right. And that he would take them to right and or lay off the ones that were lower, the ones below his knees.
Yeah. He's starting to expand that zone.
You know who hurt him too? I'll tell you right now. That that added to him. Dickey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
You could even see him by the 3rd at bat. He was so frustrated. He even changed his approach of how he held his bat up there. He just kind of went up there like some softball player, and he just swung and flailed 3 times. Well, that'll mess you up for the next game.
Fastball fouled back by Sean Rodriguez. It's 1 and 2. Joe Madden giving Will Myers a couple of days, the off day, and then last night he was not in the lineup against Hirota, who has been so good against right-handed hitting this year. So Madden taking advantage of that opportunity to give Will a couple of days back-to-back. And strike 3 at the knees. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Sabathia. We go to the 5th, scoreless.
His fantasy football team, so get those creative juices flowing because there's an added incentive in this one. He sent out this tweet yesterday for local race fans. I'm looking for a fantasy football name. Have your suggestion chosen and win a pair of tickets to a home game this year. I will decide by the end of the weekend. Here are some of the good ones he told me he has received thus far. Third and Longo, the Longorious Yard, and Muscle Hamsters. BA, I bet you get on the fantasy football action too. You have a team name yet?
You know what, Kelly? I don't have a team name. I don't do fantasy football, but I was part of a team back in 2000, I believe, 5 with the Kansas City Royals. And you want to know what the team's name was?
What?
Statz's Woodpeckers. I'm not kidding. It was Statz's Woodpeckers, and our team logo.
I played for that team.
No. Our team logo was your headshot, D-Wayne. You don't even know this story. That's a fact. It was with Zach Greinke. He asked me for help with his football team, and we named it. There's a long reason for it. Won't get into it right now, but Statz's Woodpeckers and our team logo. So you'd have Statz's Woodpeckers against, whoever, the big
Kahuna.
Team logo. Yeah, team logo was D-Wayne's headshot.
How did you guys do?
That's a true story.
How did you do?
I don't know. I helped with the draft, and I helped with naming of the team and the headshot, and I bailed.
Okay.
That was it?
That was it.
Nice to know they were any good.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
I have to look it up.
Send along a message and find out. Well, you know what? We'll talk to Zach in the World Series.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Okay.
Revive it.
1-1 to count. Alex Rodriguez leading off the 5th. And a ground ball hit it up the middle. Base hit. Rodriguez leading off the 5th.
You know what's kind of weird with the Alex thing? I've never seen so many. I'm down here looking at the people booing and watching them. I've never seen the same people booing with their camera phones taking a picture of him as they're booing him. It's the weirdest thing. So they're booing him, but they're wanting to take a picture for posterity's sake. I don't get that.
And asking him for an autograph.
And asking for an autograph. Boo! But they got their iPhones out taking pictures. Just in case, we want to have that picture.
Vernon Wells. Down and in. So for the second time in this game, the Yankees have put their leadoff man on in any one inning. Reynolds single to start the 3rd. It's doubled up. Now Rodriguez at first to begin the 5th. 1-1. David Price will be 28 on Monday. Line drive, base hit into center. Wells sends one on a line up the middle. Rodriguez stops after advancing to second. First 2 men aboard.
A solid approach by Rodriguez, and now Wells. And here's another backdoor cutter. This one does catch a little bit too much of the plate, and Wells sends it right back up the middle.
That was the difference, BA, right there.
Yep, and that's, that pitch has not found its way to that spot too many times, but when it does, it becomes hittable.
And don't want to do that with this guy here. Miss with a cutter out over the plate.
Curtis Granderson called out on strikes on a mid-90s fastball in the second. So the Yankees put up a threat. And he shows the bunt. The pitch is a strike. First time the Yankees have had a man in scoring position tonight. The Rays had a 2-out double from Longoria in the first. It's the only time the Rays have threatened to score.
Guys, it'll be an interesting double play scenario for Yunel Escobar because he's playing literally above the bag. In fact, a little more on the other side of second base. So he's going to, if it's hit to the left side of him, he's going to have to kind of round it around in order to try to turn this double play.
Out on strikes.
Wow. And you wonder right there, it's tough to see if Jerry Meals, he was blocked out a little bit, whether he called that on the pitch, looked to be off the plate away, or the swing, or attempt swing. I think he went on the swing with the point right there.
The side view of that swing. And he did go. Turns out to be a good call.
If Loney went, then he definitely went.
Yeah, no question about it. I'll tell you what, and that swing, that little half swing, was a byproduct of even the first at-bat, where David Price rung him up on a fastball out there. Now he takes it a little bit further off the plate. Granderson not sure.
Mark Reynolds swings and misses. He was out in front of the changeup.
It's always fun to see a power pitcher pitch a guy backwards. Off speed early, fastball late.
Fun for the pitcher.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was never fun for me.
Doesn't always work.
It's 1-1.
That's a good example right there. I mean, old school David Price doesn't double up a changeup on a big power hitter guy,
Yeah, and we see that frequently now. Of course, we see so many changeups on this Rays staff. It's a staple on this pitching staff. Fastball, a couple changeups, and then here's 95.
Yeah, you just start to get a hitter in between. Mark Reynolds is like, oh, a changeup, another changeup. Well, okay, there's my fastball. Doggone it. Now I'm 1-2.
Thinking.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what you want to do, is get a guy thinking and overthinking if you can.
Turn, nothing doing. Rays overloading the infield with a right-handed hitting Reynolds up there.
Arestas, how important, that we're talking about that, how important then does that make it for a hitter to go to the plate with a specific plan in mind?
Oh, dramatically. But it's like what we were just talking about. The three of us talking about it. You just change your plan, and now you are just, your mind is racing. You're trying to stay cool. You step out. You have that cool macho look. But in your head, it's racing a mile a minute going, what is he going to do now?
Ground ball through the right side. Cole comes charging. They're going to have to hold Rodriguez at third, and the bases are loaded. And boy, Sam Fold was into that throw just in case. You had an idea they would hold Rodriguez from the beginning, but Fold charging that base hit to right. Got there in a hurry.
Well, he realizes that Rodriguez on second. He's going to try to cut him at the plate if he does try to go. And I love the old school throw. You see why Sam Fold's throws are so true and with good velocity on him. He keeps them at a good height is because of the way that he comes up throwing. And he's got that old school tumble where he lets go and lets his body just flip and roll. This is exactly how you do it. That is beautiful.
A bases loaded, 1-out situation now. Austin Romine, who hit into a double play in the third, up here in the fifth with the bases loaded and 1 out. Ball 1.
That was great defensive hitting by Reynolds, by the way. That's all you can do when your mind is thinking like that and you're all confused. He just put the barrel on the bat. He didn't even try to do the old Mark Reynolds big swing.
Pitch. Foul the other way. 1-1.
The Yankees know the importance of this game for them at this point in the season right now.
No, that's for sure. We started the day 6 back. When you're in that spot, when you get down to roughly the mid-30s in games left, 6 games back with 3 teams in front of you, it's difficult to start moving over teams. Two and 1 to count to Austin Romine.
Really, your best and only chance is to get head-to-heads. That's why these are huge.
Hopper back at first. That's going to be foul. And we'll even the count at 2-2.
Well, this is your opportunity to try to get Romine to expand his strike zone. 2-2 count. This is a big pitch. Needs to be well thought out by David and Jose Molina. And you're trying to get Romine to extend that strike zone, expand it, and either get the strikeout or get him to reach and hit you a ground ball. Double play. Already done it once.
Rodriguez third, Wells second, Reynolds at first. 2-2.
Oh, man.
What's wrong with that one? David Price wants to know.
Yeah, that was strike 3. I mean, that is one that where you let go of that, and you know that is strike 3. You talk about boring a pitch to its spot. That is beautiful. Well, you talk about having to shake off a call and get right back into it. You got a full count now with the bases juiced. Tough to let it go, but you got to do it right now.
He made 18 pitches in the first. He's made 18 here in the fifth. And the 19th, a very big pitch. 3-2, bases loaded. And it's foul back. He'll have to do it again. Leave it up to 77 pitches on the evening. Both pitchers have made 58 pitches through 4. Bit of an extended inning for Price in the 5th. 3-2 again, and it's fouled away again.
Well, this is a pretty good at bat here by Austin Romine against David Price, and you see both of them letting it loose. Price using the whole plate. That velocity on that last fastball, 95.
Pitch is made. And for the 3rd time, a pop foul. Loney will run out of room. Price, since coming off the disabled list, has had such great command. He was averaging just a smidge over 12.5 pitches per inning. That's phenomenal over the spread of 10 games.
It's been aggressive. You know, David Price said, he's like, look, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to put the ball in play as early in the count as I possibly can. He's not been going after the strikeouts like a guy with his kind of stuff a lot of times will, realizing the importance of early in the count outs and therefore deeper into the game. You talk about the pitches per inning being so good. He's also been averaging just under 8 innings a start in that span. That translates.
This is the 9th pitch of this at bat. For ball 4, and that forces home a run. 9 pitches, a couple near misses, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
And you go back to that 2-2 fastball in. That was right there. Looked to be a good pitch right on the corner. Doesn't get called. And backdoor cutter here. And a little too much height. I'll tell you what, you got to tip your hat to Romine, too. He did a great job of battling David Price, and he saw it all. Backdoor cutter, fastball, both sides, changeup, and then to be able to lay off that pitch was a great at-bat.
Now we go to the top of the order. It's Ichiro Suzuki, and the bases remain loaded with a run home. Strike call. Ichiro's line to left was called out on strikes in the 3rd. 3 hits and a walk. Yankees have a run.
And BA in this situation, and I think David is getting positively upset, you know, after that last time, because you can get negatively upset and lose it. But I think he's the type of pitcher, you've seen him plenty, where these situations happen and he refocuses. He's ticked off, but he refocuses on the right vein.
Go back to his last start. I mean,
inside, yeah, that's what made it so impressive. He had to focus on every pitch and then refocus on the next pitch.
And it wasn't like it, you know, runner on 3rd with 2 outs. It was 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, 1st and 3rd, 1 out, bases low. I mean, it was every inning, and it was big time trouble. And, you know, he gave up 2 earned runs in that situation and picked up a win. His team won. So you're right. These situations, yeah, you can get off kilter for a second, but he does a nice job of honing back in.
Big chop, second base. Sobis goes to first out there, run scores, go back to second. Safe the ball as Escobar tried to put the tag down in time. And out recorded a run scores. Wells crossing the plate. And it's 2-0 New York.
Oh, yeah, tough decision there for Ben Zobrist on the chopper. Do you tag Romine right here? A little bit too far away. So he takes the out. Romine's got to get it started again. And he's just able to get that right arm in there. It was very close.
Well, the problem was that he was going to lose Ichiro at first.
Yeah, right. If he goes and tags Romine, Ichiro's safe. And I think Wells actually crossed before anyway. So after you take the out at first,
yeah, you're done.
That run's going to count regardless.
Right.
What it does is extend the inning and gives the Yankees another shot.
2 men in scoring position, 2 outs, and Nunez, who's 0 for 2, takes a strike. Nunez came into this game 7 of 22 lifetime against David Price. Yankees have scratched across a couple of runs here on a bases loaded walk and what turned out to be a chopper to second. Pop up right side, Loney into foul territory, gloves it to retire New York. 2 runs across the plate, 2 left, and it's 2-0 New York. Your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. By Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife. Available at Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. And by Dodge, engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram. Rays coming to hit in the bottom of the 5th inning. Escobar leading off against CC Sabathia. Fouls the fastball out of play down the first base side. Rays have picked up 1 hit and 1 walk through the first 4. Longoria's first inning double. That came with 2 outs, and Jennings walked with 2 outs in the 3rd. 1-1 to count. Escobar leading all major league shortstops and hitting since the All-Star break, and he'll race for the bag at first and is out. Reynolds reaching across the line, across the runner's lane, and Escobar's out at first.
And a heads-up play by Mark Reynolds right off the bat, realizing that Sabathia was not covering, and it was either him or Escobar was going to be on first base. We saw that the last start that Sabathia started against the Rays, the inability to get over there and cover first, and right here again.
Yeah, he got him on the shoulder. And the lats right there. I tell you, for a guy that was not considered a great defensive third baseman, he's been playing some pretty good first base. And Mark Reynolds.
James Loney takes it up and in.
Boy, that's a huge play because, you know, Ray's trying to answer what New York did. You go a long way towards doing that by getting that leadoff man aboard.
You greatly improve your odds by retiring that guy. Keeping the leadoff man off base. 1-1 to count to James. Loney's had his share of hits off Sabathia. 5 out of 15 coming into this game off him with a home run. It's 2-1. Yankees have pushed across a couple of runs to take the early lead. It's 2-2. It's the slider.
Sabathia has been nasty tonight and nasty down in the zone, especially with the breaking pitches, the curveball and the slider.
And then BA, when he's gone up, it's on purpose.
Yes.
And he'll get you with 94, 95. He's the old school Sabathia right here.
You're absolutely right. And so you see these Rays hitters that have had success and good numbers off Sabathia. Not this one. Not this particular guy to this point.
And strike 3 called. Looked like a 3-2 slider. And Loney not happy about that.
Well, listen, you're telling me that pitch that David Price threw is a ball, then so is this. That's a breaking ball, and you know, we had James Loney going back to get an explanation.
Two gone. Jose Molina looks at a strike.
Now, I'll tell you what, Niels has shown the propensity to give that pitch off the plate away when it's a left-handed hitter. I mean, David Price had a couple of ring-ups on fastballs. One of them on Granderson on a pitch that was borderline out there. Boy, oh boy, against these lefties, if you've got to cover that pitch, tall task.
One and two now, the count to Molina. Still the ball, 2 strikes. Sabathia now with 4 strikeouts. Giving up 1 walk. 3-2 count he had. Excuse me, on Loney. Only the second 3-2 count he has had all night. 2-2 now to Molina.
He's getting into now the 5th inning. I'm noticing a few more sliders, at least this inning. And I wonder, is just the velocity factor or just changing it up a little bit?
And the cut to miss. Had him out in front that time. We go to the 6th, 2-0 New York.
Hasn't pitched in about a month. Today he faced a couple of first-round and second-round picks in this year's draft. Nick Schufo and Riley Unroe in a little assignment where he had a simulated game, and here's Matt's assessment of how things went.
It went really well. I sat down 3 times and I threw like 15 or 17 pitches each time I got up, and I was really happy with the way everything felt. We threw all the pitches, and I was on it just as hard as I would be in a game. I know what I would like it to be would be kind of treat this like a game and get ready for 3 or 4 days of rest and then and get into a game. I think that's I feel comfortable enough with where I'm at, to think that a bullpen's going to get me ready for a game in 4 days.
While Matt would love to pitch in 4 days rest and pitch on that 5th day, the Rays are probably going to be a little more conservative with him, and more than likely you'll see Matt, if all goes well, somewhere on that West Coast trip when the rosters are expanded. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, and if history holds true and tells us anything, we know for sure they're going to wait a little longer. That tends to be the standard operating procedure for the Rays in these situations. Robinson Cano leads off the 6th, takes the pitch wide. Middle of the order, Cano, the number 3 hitter, then Alfonso Soriano, followed by Alex Rodriguez. Chopped by the mound, backhanded by Zobrist, throw to first in time. So Robinson Cano is out of there. Escobar behind Zobrist, shadowing him all the way.
Well, David Price acknowledging that defense. I'll tell you what, it just works hand in hand. Pitchers trying to get early in the count outs, defense backing him up. And for David Price, after the excitement last inning, it's right back to work here in the 6th inning.
Now 28 pitches in the 5th. He sent 7 men to the plate and scored twice. Soriano takes the pitch, ball 1.
With this incredible infield that we have, just this 4-pack, it's not just really 1 or 2 guys, it's all 4 of them could possibly deserve Gold Gloves. Who do you think is compared to in recent years? I've got one in particular that I think of an infield that has been this good.
Cut and a miss, 2-1. Well, Zobrist, if he completes this game without an error, would establish a club record. And you can see where they are in terms of fielding percentage. He would have gone 76 games. Aki Iwamura holds that record, shared now by Zobrist. Consecutive games without an error at second base.
And we just saw the list of the Rays infield. I would be hard pressed to find 8 first basemen that are better than James Loney.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
That's why. Well, the fielding percentage itself has been for years the most unreliable number probably in the game. And so they're all new attempts and new ways to try to evaluate the value of a player defensively. But the old percentage, not the best way to try to do it.
We've been fortunate to have a front row seat and let it pass the eye test and know how good they are. And Orestes, who do you got?
I got the 2000 NL NL champs who went to the World Series, New York Mets. When you consider Robin Ventura at 3rd, Ray Sanchez at shortstop, Edgardo Alfonso at 2nd, and John Olerud, very reminiscent actually, both as a defensive first baseman as a hitter, to our very own James Loney. That was a strong deep infield.
So you just went minus 13 years on us?
Yeah, I went 13. Yeah, I had to go that far back. Yeah, I had to go that. We brought it up yesterday, and when we were doing our Spanish broadcast with my partner Raul Stryker Jr. And I thought it was a great question. and we had to kind of think this through, and that's what we came up with. Because other than that, a 4-pack, and you might go second and short, but a 4-pack, that was hard to find right now.
Joe Madden would pick the 64 Cardinals.
Ooh.
Kenny Boyer at third, Dick Grope at short, Julian Javier at second base, one of the best, and Bill White outstanding at first base.
Okay, you two are just showing off now.
Bill White, former Yankee and former great Yankee voice.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty good infield, right?
It is.
They all four made the All-Star team. Long drive off the bat of Soriano. Back to the wall. Sean Rodriguez. He got it. Sean Rodriguez stayed with that one and made the catch in front of the wall.
Soriano, so many home runs here for the Yankees since coming over from the Cubs, and so you see the trajectory of the ball. The fans give a big hoot, but this ball is just going to be a deep fly ball to left field. Soriano thinks he got it.
Coming off the bat, he certainly did think he had it, and Rodriguez stayed right with it. Stamped that one with a star for Sean Rodriguez in front of the wall in left field.
I'm so glad I had him turn the air conditioning off after the 5th inning.
Soriano thought he had connected for his 18th home run of the year right there.
And all the fans here, same thing. Sean Rodriguez like, I'm just going to float back here to the wall and make a catch.
It's the 100th pitch of the night for Price, and he falls behind Rodriguez 3-0. Watch Soriano. Big swing. I was thinking, that's out of here.
And the little hop. Yeah, the Soriano hop for the home run.
Oops. Take the walk back.
Never made it to first.
Swinging 3-0. Rodriguez pops it up. Price makes the call, bumped by Loney, but Price gathers it in and hangs on. New York out in the 6th. 2-0 New York. The Rays have played with such grit and determination all season. Now they're poised to take on the Red Sox September 10th through the 12th during a series that could well determine who wins the American League East. Join the Rays for one more game and experience the edge of your seat excitement that only comes during a late season AL East battle. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com. Sam Fole looks at a strike around the knees. Bottom half of the 6th underway right now. Boston with a win in LA today over the Dodgers, leading the Rays by a half game. You see 55 losses for the Red Sox, 53 for the Rays. A 1-1 count. Rays have had a difficult time getting anything going against Sabathia. Only once have they had a man as far as second, when Longoria doubled with 2 outs in the first.
Getting Sam Fole on would be a huge boon. Speed on the base paths. Desmond Jennings coming up, getting his 3rd look at Sabathia. A great opportunity here if Sam can find his way on, and he's done a heck of a job against lefties this year.
There's a little looper into left, gonna fall for a base hit. There it is. Sam makes the turn at first and holds. So the Rays, for the first time in this game, do put the leadoff man aboard.
Sam Fole, a little soft serve into left field off the end of the bat, and now you can try to piece something together.
Back around to the top of the order, Desmond Jennings. Desmond is grounded to short and walked. Upstairs. 92 that time. We've seen Sabathia at 95 earlier through the first 4 innings. Picked up a couple of strikeouts in the 5th. One on the slider to Loney, and then the changeup to Molina to strike him out. This pitch count 78. Upstairs, fastball.
Well, Sabathia has not been out of the stretch very often in this game. So all of a sudden he's there. First 2 pitches have missed as badly as any that he's thrown in this game.
Not as bad as
now he's down 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
He'd been pitching out of the windup, and he had been spot on with the command. All of a sudden, he goes to the stretch. Hasn't been there very much. Misses the first 2 up and away. Tries to make the adjustment. The adjustment, and it's now down.
He's made only 5 pitches from the stretch all night, and he walks Jennings on 4 pitches. Fole pushed up to second on the walk.
You can see right there on Fox Tracks, not even threatening the zone, and he has been so good all game long. But again, it's been primarily out of the windup.
Well, you take a look first, second, and third time through. Starting the 3rd time through. And Zobrist, nothing out of 2. And this one way up and away. Trying to throw the curveball. Couldn't get there with it.
Completely out of sync right now.
Up with the fastball.
Well, Bia, how many walks did you say that he had in that last couple of games where he had an uncanny 11 walks, I think it was?
Yeah, his last start in 5 1/3 against Boston, he had 5 walks. In the previous start against the Angels in 6 innings, he walked 6. And right now what you're seeing is out of the windup, things are speeding up on CC, and that front side is drifting towards the plate too early. And that's why the hand can't catch up. A lot of pitches missing up and away. Rothschild telling CeCe, you know, when CeCe's out of the windup, he's got that little hesitation in his windup, that little pause that is designed to keep him over top of the rubber and not getting started towards home plate too soon. Out of the stretch, he has no such mechanism. And right now, not having been there all game, it looks like it. Out of rhythm. Yankees not wasting any time getting the bullpen going.
Preston Claiborne up, hard-throwing right-hander. Rays trying to build the inning. Zobrist ahead 2-0. And a fastball is in for strike one. Hold off second. Jennings the runner at first. It's now 3 balls and a strike. Longoria is on deck. Sabathia in the mid-80s in pitch count. Time called the bullpen ball from the Yankee pen loose.
And you don't like to see what Sabathia just did right there.
Exactly.
Let go of that ball.
Oh, man. You've seen guys get hurt with that.
Yeah.
It's just not natural.
No, and it doesn't look good, and it doesn't even feel good watching it.
3-1 line drive base hit. Here comes Folden to score. Jennings rounding third. He will score. A double for Zobrist. The game is tied.
Now you just go back to getting the leadoff man on, putting Sabathia in the stretch. You get a 4-pitch walk, a 3-1 count, and the Rays capitalize right back to even ball game.
Rays fans with something to cheer about on the 30th double of the year for Ben Zobrist, giving him 62 runs batted in for the season. He's 4th on the all-time Rays RBI list now. And Evan Longoria steps in.
You know, I love
the strike at the knees.
Guys, I loved about that at bat by Zoe is that you had a 3-1 pitch, but he was purposely, and Romine obviously asked for this, to go, you know, a little bit away to try to see if he can get him to roll over. And a lot of hitters, 3-1, you get all jacked up and you roll over it. He went right up the middle.
Now he's got that nice flat swing path too, where he keeps the barrel of the bat in the zone for a long time.
Correct.
And he did not get greedy. You're right.
Now Longoria is trying to give the Rays the lead. And a shot into left center field. That's going to do the job. Zobrist on his way to the plate. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Longoria driving in his 68th run of the year.
And still nobody out. Now you've got the crowd back into it. That's how quickly it could turn.
Ball started on the leadoff base hit by Sam Fuld out of the 9th spot. Sabathia struggling with his control, his command. And now Will Myers steps in. And he fouls that first pitch fastball. He liked that one. Fouled it back, however, strike one.
And those are those pitches that we're talking about. Those ones out over the plate where he can get extension. He's fouling them off now, where before he was crushing those pitches.
Give him another one up there, see what happens.
Yeah, you keep going to the well and he'll burn you eventually.
Rays have scored 3 times.
And as a hitter, guys, this kid, he's got such a great swing, great talent. He just needs to just clear one. He just needs to clock one. Not even out for a home run, just to really lean into a line drive, and it'll probably reset him like rebooting a computer, and he'll get back on track.
Ball, 2 strikes, big cut on the fastball. Rays have Jake McGee working in the bullpen. And strike 3, a wave and a miss out in front.
Well, that's where you see right now, that's the sign that Will Myers going through a little bit of a funk right now. Change up by Sabathia. And Will goes down with an awkward swing.
Yeah, he's just in indecisive mode. What we saw, 2 or 3 weeks ago from Evan Longoria. You're a power hitter and you're just not pulling the trigger at the right time, and you're thinking, you're guessing, and all of a sudden you just let it go, and they're kind of flailing swings.
See what Sean Rodriguez can do. Longoria draws a little toss to first. Sean 0 for 2. Fastball got him when Sabathia struck him out in the 2nd inning. Went up with 95 and struck him out swinging. Got him with the slider looking in the 4th. And there's a strike. Starts it with the slider this time around. Rays with 3 runs on a walk and 3 hits in the inning. 2 on the fastball. That fastball the last couple innings has dropped a bit. A couple of ticks. .95 pitches for Sabathia. Tried to check, did not. Bruce Conroy says he's out. 2 gone.
Here's a look at it, side view, breaking ball down, a little too far.
Seven strikeouts for Sabathia. Junel Escobar. Escobar 0 for 2. He's had success against Sabathia. A couple of home runs in his portfolio against the New York left-hander. Devin back hit at first. Upstairs.
You just got to love the grit of this Rays team. I mean, CC Sabathia was absolutely in, rare form. Better than we've seen him at any point this season. Dominating the Rays through 5. And leading off the 6th with the 9-hole hit. And first 4 up, 3 have scored.
And now it's 3-0. Well, that's what they do. That's the way this team plays. Boy, it's been such an entertaining team for a long time over the past 5.5, 6 years. And they play that brand of baseball again this year.
But way more entertaining this year with this offense, I must say. You know, because this is a team that at any point in time could put him a 3 or 4 spot.
Yeah, I mean, well, just the way this inning's set up and the way that Sabathia's pitching, like, well, 9-1-2, probably going to have to hopefully get him in the 7th. And they just, you know, the production has been up and down the lineup at different times.
Chop headed to short. Nunez has trouble.
I don't know if he could get the ball out of the glove after it hit the lip. He was expecting a little bit higher of a bounce there off the chop from Escobar, and it hit the lip of the grass. Well, the fake grass.
Right.
And it stayed low.
Escobar is going to be awarded a hit. Here it is.
That forces the reach back, and then he just never, ever can get that ball out of the glove clean.
Yeah, you're right. Not only did it not take the right hop on him, but it went the other way on him.
Yeah,
So,
yep, forced him to reach.
yeah, he's done.
Sabathia now over 100 pitches. He was at 101. Here's James Loney. And a low liner going to be caught at first by Reynolds, retiring the Rays. But they send 8 men to the plate in the 6th inning. They get 2 on the double by Ben Zobrist. That tied it. They get the go-ahead run on the base hit by Longoria. 3-2 Rays. David Price, 101 pitches, 5 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 5 and walked 1 in 6. So he departs with a chance to be the winner. Time for the Just for Men mustache and beard. Play like a champ. And if history holds true, highest winning percentage when the starter pitches 6 or more innings. The Rays have the best winning percentage in the major leagues under those conditions. At 722, they get 6 innings tonight from David Price.
By a wide margin, too, and that speaks to the quality of the back end of the Rays bullpen, and it starts here with Jake McGee. And you can see already how this could potentially set up for the Rays.
Vernon Wells in the batter's box. He's 1 out of 2. Lifts one foul out of play up the right field side. Strike 1. Curtis Granderson next, and then Mark Reynolds. Price and Sabathia starters in this game. Price gave up 2 in the 5th. Sabathia 3 in the 6th. Now Jake McGee in there for the Rays. Close off the plate, 1-1.
You know, BA, I'm looking from ground level here, and because I've always been fascinated by Jake McGee and how he's developed into this really standout reliever. Obviously, he's spotting his fastballs, but that leg kick, I must admit, it's a little distracting when he does a leg kick and then that Iron Mike arm of his. This ball obviously has got giddy up, but all of that put together, it's a little bit distracting. I'm trying to concentrate and think about if I was a hitter up there. There's a little bit of motion coming at you, and then boom, explosion.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a degree of deception because Jake McGee, I mean, let's be honest. He's a one-trick pony.
Exactly.
He's got a fastball, and everybody in the world knows that's what you're going to get. Straight fastball, great velocity. You know, he's got quick arm action too. He gets the ball, the hand out of the glove, and gets it going in a hurry. Obviously, that's what starts to create that velo. But there is a degree of deception with Jake. A little hop on the fastball. That ball stays true.
Rodriguez takes it. 1 gone. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Hey, I remember a one-pitch reliever. I think he might have pitched for the Yankees. I'm not sure. It's one-pitch reliever. He did pretty good.
Yeah, right. He may be in the building tonight.
He might be here, Mr. Sandman. We do not want to see him. Mo Rivera, but that was a special pitch. That kind of. Or it is a special pitch. Or am I talking in past tense?
Well, that's as close as we need to be to him.
Yes, that's it.
Curtis Granderson, the hitter, 2-0 the count. He's been class. Two balls and a strike.
See, there you go. I mean, he's looking fastball. He got a fastball, but he was like, it was almost like if it was like a slider or something. But that's not.
I think too with the 2-0 count, and now it's 3-1. But the 2-0 count, I think he's sold out. I know I'm getting one.
Yeah.
Jake just put it in a great spot. That was a pretty close one there too.
One drilled into deep right. One hop and to the wall. Ball bounding away from Fold, but Granderson will stop at second with a double. Sam recovered quickly. Granderson has his 5th double of the year. Now the Yankees put the potential tying run in scoring position with 1 out in the 7th.
Well, Curtis Granderson here, 3-1, obviously selling out for the fastball. This one closer to him, right down the middle. And he gets out and punishes this ball down into the corner in right field. And Granderson, listen, since the beginning of 2011, he's got 31 home runs against left-handed pitchers. So he's not afraid to stay in there and be able to hit that ball with some power.
His first hit ever off Jake McGee. Now Mark Reynolds, who has 2 hits tonight. Reynolds is 2 for 2. Reynolds 0 for 3 in his career with 2 strikeouts against Jake McGee. Jake's pitch is low. Again, the fastball from Jake at 96. Jake's last outing was Monday in Baltimore against the Orioles. Out of play, takes the count to 1-1. Jake pitched an inning and a third in the game. Price started. The Rays won 4-3. Rays used Price for 5, and Jake got into the game the 7th inning, got the last out of the 7th, and pitched the 8th. Working in the 7th inning with a man at second, 1 out tonight. By Mark Reynolds. 96, and it's 1-2. Not catching up to that one.
Again, Mark Reynolds, this is a guy, tremendous amount of power, but also a lot of swings and misses. He knows what he's getting.
Upstairs, 2-2 the Rays with the right-handed shift on, overloading the left side. Zobrist in behind Granderson at second. They're trying to sneak in there to keep him as close as he can.
He beat the shift the last time. That base hit.
And you could beat it on accident here just because of McGee's velocity.
But he swings through the pitch at 97 and is out on strikes. 2 gone.
But you know, guys, the difference there, that at bat, the other one he played pepper. And he just tried to put the ball in play on a fastball away or a cutter, it might have been. This one, he was trying to go for the downs and play old school Mark Reynolds and try to make the game 4-3.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good pitch riding in, too, from McGee.
Well, that's the thing. Easier to play pepper on the ball away from you.
True.
Just reach out there with the
Drop
2 strikes
the
and slap it that way. He got a ball middle in, and that's where
Romine fouling it into the screen for a strike.
those natural power hitter instincts take over.
Yes.
And you want to drive that pitch.
It's in. Swing. Hard. Oh, missed. Okay. Bye.
And I'll tell you what, Romine, he's had a couple of nice at-bats tonight. Hit a ball that, if it wasn't for Evan Longoria making a nice play up the line, had a chance for extra bases, worked a deep count walk with the bases loaded.
Takes a big cut at the fastball and fouled it right back. 2 strikes now.
Well, that's got to be hard, too. You got a pitcher out there that he's going to throw you a fastball. So you're geared up for fastball, and you know it's coming. So that swing gets really aggressive, where he's the kind of guy, if you get big and long with your swing, it's going to beat you. Too much velocity, too much late life. It's just got to be smooth and right to the baseball.
Fouled out of play. Jake upping the ante to 98.
And it's just one after the other. Well, there you go. Took a little off at 94 and poured some on at 98.
Yeah, he needs more separation in the off-speed stuff. It's only 4 miles per hour between 98 and 94. He's amazing.
It really is.
Fly ball, left center field. Rodriguez is there and makes the catch, retiring the side. A double and a man left at second base. Sean Rodriguez making sure he follows that one all the way in. 3-2 Rays. bases loaded walk in the 5th inning drawn by Austin Romine gave New York the early lead. This chopper by Ichiro Suzuki got Vernon Wells home to make it 2-0. But Ben Zobrist doubled home 2 in the bottom of the 6th and then scored on the base hit by Evan Longoria, giving the Rays a 3-2 lead. They'll carry that lead into the home half of the 7th inning against CC Sabathia, with Jose Molina fouling away the first pitch. Strike 1. Molina, then Fold and Jennings due up. Sabathia a little over 100 pitches tonight as he faces Molina. Nothing in 2.
Now, how about this game and kind of what we figured and hoped that we would get, a great pitchers matchup, and Sabathia, who's been so good all night long. It was a 4-batter span where things went south. Leadoff runner aboard, 4-pitch walk, a couple of back-to-back hits, and all of a sudden he finds himself down a run. I mean, he's at 105 pitches now, and that span of 4 hitters was what, 10, 12 pitches total? And that's sometimes all it takes. The margin for error in these types of games so small.
Well, when Foles singled on a 2-1 pitch in the 6th that he went to the stretch, he just had a difficult time making that adjustment. He walked Jennings promptly on 4 pitches.
And then Zobrist,
he got behind him, 3-1, and Zobrist doubled. Longoria singled. The Rays had the lead. Up until that time, faced only a couple hitters out of the stretch. Nunez throws out Molina. 1 out in the home half of the 7th. Rays have Joel Peralta up in their bullpen. Price worked 6. McGee has worked the 7th, and now Peralta readies himself in the Rays bullpen up the right field line. And here's Sam Fold, who started the 3-run rally in the 6th inning with a leadoff single. That's a strike. Sam lined out to first in the 3rd, and then looped the single into left in the 6th inning. One and one. Sam still looking for his first double of the year. He has 3 triples and no doubles.
Too fast. He's going to gap it. That's triple.
2-1. Claiborne was up in the 6th inning, up again in the 7th. Sam just got a little piece of it. Fouled it at the feet of the catcher Romine, and the count is 2-2. Ground ball over the mound and through into center. Sam 2 for 3. Well, against the lefty, he's 2 out of 3. Came into the game hitting .320 off left-handed pitching, and that brings Joe Girardi out of the dugout for New York. He's got an eye toward the bullpen. We'll be back after this Metro PCS call to the bullpen. 1/3 innings, 112 pitches. Rays have 3 runs off him, and he is accountable for a runner on as he leaves. Couple of walks and 7 strikeouts for Sabathia.
What a frustrating night for Sabathia, as well as we've seen him throw. And the Rays still able to get to him. Led by Sam Fuld. Sam Fuld got the rally started where the Rays take the lead, and then he gets the base hit that knocks him out of the game.
Preston Claiborne in there in relief of Sabathia. 37th appearance for the right-hander, facing Desmond Jennings. Claiborne, a lot of attention already to Sam Fuld. Pitch out, and that pitch came back toward the plate.
The Rays try to stay away from running on pitch outs.
They have a sign for that.
Of course they do.
The anti-run on pitch out sign. Hard to figure that one out.
Pitch upstairs. 2-0.
Hey guys, by the way, I got another bit of great infield from back in the day. You want to hear it?
Bring it.
This is from my old teammate and another fellow crazy lefty such as yourself, Dave LaPointe. You remember Davey?
Yeah.
Yeah, Davey texted me and goes, 82 cards with Hernandez, Herr, Ozzie Smith, and Ken Overton.
That's pretty good. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down's going to skip through into center. Sam Fuld will go over to third base. So a steal for Sam. He winds up at third with only one man retired.
It's so nice to have a base stealer on. You try to extend the lead, and Sam gets in there. And
how about the whiff job by Cano?
Yeah.
That was not a bad throw at all.
That error actually should be on Cano.
Absolutely.
I think they've given it to Cano.
Yeah, well deserved. Yeah, see, he's going down for the tag before securing the ball. He's trying to be quick with that snap tag and was too quick, and it cost him another 90 feet.
Yankees forced to pull the infield in. High popper. Shallow left. Soriano covering a lot of ground coming in from his left field position. And Jennings is the second out. So with 2 gone, now that infield can drop back. It's a big out for New York.
Yeah, it sure was. You know, Rays looking to double up on this lead. That ball skied. Not nearly deep enough.
Well, here's Ben Zobrist. Ben tied this game with a double in the 6th. Hitting from the left side against Claiborne. Pitch came back to get the corner. Logan first thing in the bullpen. Shot but foul toward the Rays bullpen. Nice play on the carom down there.
Good hustle, covered some ground again. Listen, if you're going to wear a glove and be on the Rays side in this stadium.
Yep. See, Zobrist Moving ahead of Aubrey Huff on the RBI list in Rays history. One and two. Just a small bit of irony in that Zobrist came to the Rays in a deal involving Aubrey Huff. A ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. Strikes, changeup, strikes out Zobrist. We're through 7, 3-2 Tampa Bay. Through 7 innings, 3-2. Rays put 3 up in the 6th. We go to the 8th. Rays have gone to the bullpen with Price working 6. McGee pitched 1, and now it will be Joel Peralta on to work the 8th inning, facing the top of the order, beginning with Ichiro Suzuki.
Not at all a stranger to these types of situations. Peralta on for the 62nd time, more than a strikeout an inning. That opponent's average continues to stay below 200.
Ichiro nothing out of 3 with a run batted in on a chopper to second. First pitch is a strike. Ichiro 1 of 7 with a walk and a couple strikeouts. And head-to-head matchups with Peralta.
Now that's how Peralta, when he's at his best, that's exactly how he attacks hitters. I mean, a lot of strikes. You're not really sure what's going to come because he's willing to mix up all of his pitches in all different counts. A student of the game too. Studies, knows exactly what he wants to do with each guy that he's going to come in and face. Well thought out game plan.
Popper shallow left. Sean Rodriguez already there. One gone here in the 8th. Desmond Jennings has been making great plays in center field all season long. Tomorrow, he'll use his superpowers to battle the Yankees. Kids 14 and under get an action figure of Desmond's alter ego, Jennings the Jet, presented by Remax. While supplies last. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com. Shortstop Eduardo Nunez in the batter's box. It's a strike. Split right there from Peralta.
Well, that's the thing, you know. But when Joel Peralta's coming in this game, especially when he gets a clean inning, he knows who he's going to face, you know, and the potential, you know, pinch hitters and who they may be, and has a game plan for each guy. Knows exactly how he wants to attack them.
1-1.
And now the key becomes, can you execute those pitches? And more times than not, he's able to do that. But he is just so unpredictable, and that's why you can be a setup guy where you're so used to seeing 95, 96 in this role. He can be 90, but still be just as effective.
Ground ball headed toward the middle, backhanded by Zobrist. Throw to first, got him. Nunez out number 2. Zobrist shaded toward the middle, positioning a big part of that play, and then he took care of the rest.
It was another base hit up the middle. I mean, this ball, well, nice job by Nunez trying to go back up the middle, but Zobrist positioned well. Still have to look where he's at.
You're right. That's great positioning. That's like the Rays knowing exactly where he hits the ball, and that's beautiful. But still a tough play.
Yeah. Going
to his right, turning around and to have a strong enough shoulder and rocket arm, and both shortstop and second baseman have great arms.
Robinson Cano in the batter's box. Pitch is low.
So did you guys like the 82 Dave LaPointe suggestion? Hernandez, Ozzie Smith, Oberkfell.
And I'm not surprised that Dave LaPointe
would have gone there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yep.
That was a good one.
That's a good entry.
It's a really good entry. You got two perennial Gold Glovers in Hernandez and Smith.
Dave LaPointe still very well rounded in this game. He was the complete package. He could pitch and hit.
Yeah. Pointer was a
great sense of humor.
Great teammate.
Great knowledge.
Did you say that he's
a really good guy?
Did you say that he's still round? Is that what you said? That he's still round?
No.
Oh, I thought maybe you were talking about
that
he's a little bit round.
That's what you said.
I said
I would never say that about a guy who is as good a guy as Dave LaPointe.
I'll say it. Great guy.
He certainly is. 1-1 the count. Cano had that base hit in the first, then the Rays defense victimized him a couple times, once in the 4th and once in the 6th.
Split finger here from Peralta, acting more like a traditional changeup. That just gets Cano out in front, well located.
Two men retired. Dangerous man at the plate. And 2.
You know what? That was Joel Peralta with that quick move towards home plate, and he had Cano. Cano was not nearly ready for that pitch. Not at all. If this is in the zone, this is strike 3. And you saw
Cano.
Yeah, well, he turned around and started talking to Jerry Meals like, can he do that?
The answer is yes.
Yes. Just break out a little bit of tape on him, and you'll see it about once an outing.
And strike 3 is called. Cano puts up a little bit of a squawk with Meals. A 1-2-3-8. Rays lead 3-2.
time to check in again on our AT&T Twitter poll question of the night. Of the current teams that are non-playoff teams, those that don't currently have the wild card spot or the division, who's most likely to make the postseason? The Orioles, hashtag TB1. The Indians, hashtag TB2. Royals, hashtag TB3. Or these Yankees, hashtag TB4. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays. Results of the Rays Live postgame show presented by Checkers. Evan Longoria against the Yankees. Talking about that, Joe Madden's press conference, Dwayne and BA's thoughts, and interviews with Kelly Nash after the game, guys.
All right, Todd, covering a lot of ground there as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Evan Longoria leads off, and he takes the pitch inside. Longoria, Myers, and Rodriguez. One to count. In with some action on it.
You want to talk about late life? I mean, this looked like a left-handed power slider.
Wow. Wow, that was
action. High shot back into center. That'll send Granderson to the track, to the wall. Gone! Home run! Evan Longoria, straight away center. 4-2 Tampa Bay. The 27th home run of the year for Longoria. What a shot.
Well, a hanging slider, and that's going to give the Rays some breathing room. Right at you.
That's 3D right there.
Yeah.
Will Myers looks at a slider for a strike. Boy, the pitch prior to that was an unhittable pitch. And the next pitch, eminently hittable. And boy, did he hit it. Here it is.
Coming right in your living room.
One of the great shots of the year right there.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Oh, my. They could have a movie trailer with that video right there for a 3D. Come see Evan Longoria. Yeah, this is why this game and Dwayne is so frustrating and it's so tricky. I mean, the pitcher-hitter matchup, great sinker, and then hanging slider. Unbelievable.
2-1 here to Myers, and Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, heads to the mound. Now's your chance to purchase a Tampa Bay Times ticket tandem and receive a Fernando Rodney figurine. The offer available for the series against the Yankees only through tomorrow. Buy yours now while supplies last. To purchase, visit RaysBaseball.com/tandem. Fernando Rodney busy in the Rays bullpen here in the bottom of the 8th, with the Rays leading now 4-2. To Myers. It's a strike. 2-2. Chopper back to the hill, grabbed by Claiborne, and the throw to first in time to record the first out. Sean Rodriguez.
I'll tell you what a huge run for the Rays. You know that.
Absolutely.
Taking that lead 3-2, 4-2. That takes you out of the range of a guy running into one pitch and hitting it out of the ballpark. Now they've got to put something together against Fernando Rodney.
Fastball, a strike. 2. Rays got 3 runs off Sabathia. And now another run off Claiborne. Up and off the mitt of Romine to the backstop. Zobrist with 2 runs batted in, and Longoria with 2 runs batted in. Home run big also when you figure the middle of the order will be up in the 9th inning for New York.
Yeah.
Always nice to tack a run or 2 on in the 8th.
Definitely got 3 guys more than capable of hitting the ball out of the ballpark with Soriano, Rodriguez, and Wells due up.
Now it's 2-2. Rays and the Yankees again tomorrow. That'll be Alex Cobb and Ivan Nova tomorrow afternoon. And Rodriguez out on strikes, 2 gone. Second strikeout for Claiborne. Here's what's coming up prior to the game tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. A look at Mariano Rivera making his final regular season appearance of his career here at Tropicana Field. And inside the Rays preview featuring Chris Archer and a preview of that pitching matchup right there, and that should be a dandy. Alex Cobb and Ivan Nova.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one too. Alex Cobb, always fun to watch. Nova has been hard on the Rays. When you think about the way that he's throwing the ball. In fact, he came out on the losing end of that 2-hit shutout by Chris Archer. Got beat 1-0 in that ball game.
Escobar fouls it. It's 1-1. Well, coming into this series, you figured that it had a chance to be a great pitching series last night with Archer and Kuroda. And Kuroda had an atypical evening for him. The Rays got to him for 7 runs. He was the league ERA leader going into that game. Chris Archer pitched well for the Rays again. The Rays took that one 7-2, and here tonight, Price and Sabathia. That's always a marquee pitching matchup. And then tomorrow with Nova and Cobb, figures to be a very good match as well. Into left. Soriano's there to catch it. The Rays settled for the 1 run, the leadoff home run by Evan Longoria. He hit it out to center, and the Rays lead this game 4-2. Brian Anderson, Orestes Estrada, and Todd Callis, Dwayne Stats with you. Kelly Nash with us tonight as well. The Rays hold a 4-2 lead after winning last night 7-2. They're after another series win, and that's the goal for the Rays here as they count down the series remaining in the regular season. They call upon Fernando Rodney, making his 55th appearance, trying to close this one out.
Well, looking for save number 30. 51 2/3 innings, 68 strikeouts. And he's got to cut right through the heart of this Yankee order here in order to get it done.
He'll face Alfonso Soriano to lead it off. Soriano 0 for 3. He's out in the 6th inning on the long drive to left. Soriano against Fernando Rodney. 1 of 1 with a walk. Alex Rodriguez next, and then Vernon Wells. Pitch quick inside, down and in with a fastball. Cutting the foul ball back. Trying to gear up for the hard stuff. 1-1.
Well, that's the conundrum that you face as a hitter. You come in there against Fernando Rodney, and you talk about not knowing what he'll throw and when he'll throw it. We've seen him throw 4 or 5 straight changeups as well as fastballs. Changeup in any count.
2-1.
You pick one and hope you see it. You know, earlier in the year, we saw certain hitters seemingly sitting on changeups because the fastball command was not there early in the season. And so they kind of disregarded that pitch, would wait for that changeup.
And a big cut and a miss on a change there.
Yeah.
He was not sitting on that changeup.
No.
Yeah, remember, in fact, there was one of the games I did down here in the against Boston. It was Middlebrook.
Yeah, it was.
Who sat on that changeup because he threw so many in a row. And he hung one and got the game-winning hit. Not the case now, gentlemen.
Now, how hard is it, Orestes, to go up and sit changeup on a guy that you know can blow you away with 95, 97, 99?
You have to sell yourself that that's what you're going to do because.
Close, but off the plate at 98. Full count.
And be fully confident that that's the right call because otherwise you're really done.
Yeah.
Broken bat, little looper. Back a second. Caught by Zobrist. Most of the bat out toward the shortstop spot. Barrel end. 1 gone here in the 9th. Alex Rodriguez tonight is 1 for 3. He singled and scored a run in the 5th. Chops it to second. Ben Zobrist has taken care of both Soriano and Rodriguez. 2 up and 2 down in the 9th inning. Vernon Wells due to hit, but he will be recalled. We're going to go with Gardner.
Brett Gardner, the Yankees' typical leadoff hitter. And that's the kind of at-bat that Joe Girardi is hoping for here against Fernando Rodney. Somehow try to get on base. You got some power behind you in Curtis Granderson.
And we've seen Gardner work at bats. You can see a lot of pitches. He takes a strike. Rodney gets the count, running in his favor. Foul ball out of play. Fastball 98 on that second pitch. A 2-strike count. Rays scored 3 in the 6th, added 1 in the 8th. Lead 4-2 in the 9th. That's going to be out of the reach and out of play. On the left field side, as Sean Rodriguez hustled over there. Soriano popped out. Rodriguez chopped out. 2 strikes to count to Gardner. Fly ball, center field. Rays win it. Rays beat the Yankees 4-2. Gardner hits a fly ball to Jennings, and the Rays have taken the first 2 games of this series, winning last night 7-2, winning tonight 4-2. And they are 21 games over 500 and back into first place by percentage points. Tied in the games behind or games ahead column, and 2 games up in the loss column, as the Rays saw the Yankees score twice in the 5th. They scored 3 times in the 6th, got a run in the 8th, and pick up the win as David Price goes 6 to notch his 8th victory of the year. He is 8-5. Sabathia, the losing pitcher, dropping his record to 11-11. Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Evan Longoria with a base hit in the 6th inning, breaking a 2-2 tie. And for good measure, leading off the bottom of the 8th with his 27th home run of the year to center field. That made it 4-2. And that's the way it ends. Rays are winners. Todd Callis standing by with Evan Longoria right now.
Thanks, Dwayne. Evan, ever since that losing streak, you guys seem to have re-hit your stride. You feel like you're back where you were before that?
I mean, we were really, really good then, so I don't know. It's tough to say if we're at that level, but we're playing much better than obviously pre-losing streak and or during the losing streak, and it's just fun to see. You know, the guys are having fun. You know, David throws another great game, gives us a chance to win, and it seems like, you know, things are falling into place right now for us. CC pitched his butt off today, but you know, ultimately David kind of keeps us in the game, and we get a couple of runs off CC late.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about CC. You've seen him multiple times now. Was that as good as he's been all year against you?
I thought so. I mean, his velocity was up. You know, we were used to seeing him around 91, 92. He was consistently around 95 today. All of his stuff was sharper than we've seen in the past, and I thought it showed. You know, we had a couple of opportunities, and we were able to cash him in right there in that 1 inning. But other than that, he pitched really well.
Such a crazy game when you go through a tough stretch, and now you're going so well. Is it just a matter for you? Are you swinging at the right pitches now?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Swinging at pitches, and you know, there's a lot of ups and downs in this game, and I knew that if I continued to swing and swing at good pitches, that eventually I would come out of it. And you know, this is one of the times when I'm riding high, you know, and I just try to go up there and swing and feel comfortable and see how long it lasts.
You had that RBI single that gave the team the lead. How about the home run? We've got a pretty cool shot from above on the catwalk. Threw a nasty pitch before that one.
Yeah, I mean, he's tough. You know, I've faced him, I think, 3 times. And yeah, that's a pretty cool shot. I've seen him a few times, and his stuff's really good. And so I was just trying to get down early and see a pitch, and it was a slider up, a mistake pitch, and just put a good swing on it.
Final thing, Evan, you've got a big matchup again tomorrow. Ivan Nova can be really tough, and you've got Alex Cobb on your side. For a team that was as hot as the Yankees, it would be pretty impressive, wouldn't it, to go out of here and be able to sweep this team?
I think our focus has been winning 2 out of 3, winning series, and today was a big one for us. Like you said, Nova's been really, really good against us, and to be able to get 2 out of 3 before we face him and have a chance to sweep a series puts us in a great spot. So looking forward to tomorrow, but we'll enjoy tonight.
Thanks, Longo. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, guys, right back to you.
All right, Todd, the Rays are winners tonight. It's a 4-2 final. They knock off the New York Yankees behind the pitching of David Price, Jake McGee, Joel Peralta, and Fernando Rodney, who closes it out.